The real thing about this is understanding that it's not ours. That is something that drastically changed for us when we realized it's not about the church wanting my money. It's not about God wanting my money. It's about understanding that everything that I have, everything that comes in is not mine.
Every good and perfect gift is from the Father.
It's right? From above. It's from God. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 104, and Ryan, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I know we did a birthday show
a
couple weeks ago, but we are recording this on your birthday. So I just want to say that. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Look at your commitment here on your day of birth.
Absolutely.
Recording podcasts.
Yes.
It's been a fun day.
It has been a great day.
Ryan always gets the day off of work, and we go and do all of our favorite things, which, what do you ask? What are those favorite things? Coffee. Thrifting. Pickleball. More coffee. Eating good food.
Yeah.
Seeing our kids.
Yeah.
Family time.
Right.
You were in the Word this morning.
Yeah.
I'll be in it later tonight. And we played pickleball.
Yeah.
What a perfect day.
What a
and here
great
we are
day.
podcasting.
And
all
podcasting.
The best.
Yeah.
So we're talking about something today that has had a major impact in our life and the lives of our children. And I think it's maybe something that could be brushed off or not seen as important. So we wanted to share what a huge impact it's had on us and debunk a few myths that people might kind of say about this thing. So we're talking about consistent attendance and involvement in a church community and how it's shaped our marriage.
Yeah, that's a great topic, Michelle.
So Ryan, I just want to have a conversation about how it's impacted us. So I'm going to interview you a little bit. Interview you.
All right, cool.
How would you say it's impacted us? I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. We'll just start with maybe the positives.
Well, I mean, I think first off, obviously there's growth. I think there's, positive growth in probably every aspect of life.
Yeah.
I think in work, I think in marriage, in parenting, it's sort of, Michelle, I think like that idea of planting good seeds. Planting good seeds leads to good fruit. You can't plant like rotten seeds.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump in because I said talk about the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
We'll just say that first. Have there been negatives before we jump in? I don't think there have been. I can't think of any negatives to our church attendance.
No.
Maybe it's just been that it's made us work on ourselves.
Right.
And that part has been hard, but
sure. Yeah.
But the positives have been so large.
Absolutely.
What does our church attendance look like? Maybe share with the listeners.
Well, I mean, I think pretty much, just about every weekend we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some weekends where we're obviously out of town, but we typically, if we are out of town, we're listening online, we're watching online. So
I love that this weekend we were out of town and our son came to me and said, Mom, are we watching church tomorrow in the car ride home? And I said, yeah, I was planning on it. And he said, oh, good. He said, doesn't it just feel weird? He said, it was Sunday morning, this morning. Didn't it feel weird not going to church? He said, it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
It's from our 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I love that
Absolutely.
He was feeling that void and that he looks forward to it. It's a highlight for him. But he's grown up every week.
Yeah.
I think, there were a handful of weekends this year that we were away. But then I was looking back and I'm like, well, 2 of those we were doing ministry things. One will be at a district conference or a meeting, I should say. And then one of them we were preaching a message at a church plant.
Right.
So,
right.
But we are pretty consistently involved. So, Ryan, has this always been the case for us?
No, it hasn't. No, I mean, I think we've shared that, there's been times in my life, I think, Michelle, times in your life where where we weren't. I think for me, it was around that college time that I quit going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can tell you that it wasn't, it brought me to a valley in life because I was so set on trying to do things the way that I wanted to do them.
Yeah.
And, it led to a spot in life.
Right. I think, same answer for me. And I was going to say the same word, valley, I think same. It was around college age. And I'm so grateful to my mom and dad for raising me with a strong faith foundation. Darn it, Ryan, I was going to bring my perfect attendance Sunday school badge. I grew up in the United Methodist Church, and they had this gold bar, or actually it was a little circle, and then a wreath went around it, and then little gold bars that went down for every year.
Yeah.
And I think I had that all of the elementary school, all the way through high school. I had perfect attendance. And even though I fell away, I think of Proverbs where it says, let me grab the verse here. Proverbs, is it 22:6? Where train a child in the way they should go. When they are old, they will not depart from it. But for me, it felt like it was a departing, but I came back to it. I had that foundation. So I'm so grateful for our daughter's in college now, and I'm so grateful for the amazing church plant that is down in Vermilion, Resilient Church. Shout out to them. They're Wesleyan Church, and they're doing amazing things down there. And I'm so grateful that she's not going through the valleys that we went through, kind of drifting. But I would say the same thing. There's been this parallel, and it's not that being in church has meant that we haven't had hard things.
Right.
It's just meant that we've had people to go through it with.
Yeah.
But I would say the true valley in my life was when I wasn't consistently attending.
Right. Right.
So we're going to share a little bit about how that's impacted us more with our kids and our family, and kind of look at some reasons why people maybe this might be not a priority. And maybe just give you some food to think about. If you don't have a church home, we just want to have a conversation where we can share what it's meant to us and how it's changed our lives.
Yeah.
So
Michelle, first off, just thank you for saying that about the foundation. I think that's so important. That was a story of my life too.
So you grew up in the Catholic Church?
Grew up, we were in church every weekend. And I think that's such a great, again, to my parents for setting that foundation. Funny story for you, actually. I think I was actually, not technically, but I was confirmed in both the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church.
Oh, really?
Well, funny.
I didn't know that.
Funny story here, because, see, I grew up on a farm. And the Lutheran church in town had their confirmation thing right after school.
Okay.
See, we got out like Wednesdays, we got out of school early. I don't know why. I really don't. And so they had their confirmation like at 2:00 in the afternoon. Well, we had to be back at the school for sports practice at like 3:30. Well, I grew up in the country, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to go home. All my friends are going to the Lutheran church. I'll just go with them.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I went through all of the classes.
What did your parents think about that?
They didn't care. I mean, they whatever. I was just hanging out with all my friends, because they were going there. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll go there. And so I went through all of the classes. And then later that night, after like our football practice, I went to our Wednesday night service at the Catholic Church.
You were double confirmed.
Yes,
you stood a good chance.
Right.
Then.
Yeah. Right.
Ryan, when you were talking about growing up in church and how consistent your family was, I just think of how you're always early to things, and you've told this story to our kids, and I think it's just so endearing. But you said that the O'Connor way growing up and going to church was leaving how early?
We left a half an hour early, and it only took like
10 minutes to get to town,
like 12 minutes to get to church. And I remembered I finally asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, I said, why are we leaving so early? He's like, well, just in case we get a flat tire. And I'm like, Dad, I said, I could change all 4 tires in that amount of time and we could still get to church on time. But
I love that.
Yeah.
Way to go, Dan.
Yeah.
That's so fantastic.
We had
great.
to get our spots, I guess.
So, Ryan, let's jump in. What is the first thing that might be kind of in someone's mind holding them back from going to a local church?
Okay, one of the things I think we hear a lot is this idea that I can be spiritual without going to church. You know, one of the things a few episodes back when Pastor Chris Fickle, our marriage pastor, was here with us, you know, one of the things he shared was that a lot of couples, when they come in and their marriage is in trouble, one of the things they often say is, I don't have community. And they think that they have to go through this alone. You know, one of the things that I can say is life is hard if you're on your own. Life is really hard. I mean, I think of all of the things, Michelle, that we've gone through that you know, have happened in the last 5 years. We've done it alongside a community of people from our church that have walked with us, that have literally showed up at our front door with food, with just help, just caring, you know, and it's just like that has meant so much through these valleys, and trying to do that alone is really difficult.
My eyes just welled up with tears just to get even further back, Ryan, to, you know, when Thomas was in the NICU and one of the pastors coming up, it was Pastor Carmen. They've now planted a church out in Missoula, Montana, but him coming up with pizza to the NICU and just sitting with us and just being around and being a listening ear for some really heavy and really scary stuff. We just didn't know what in the world was going on with him. And it felt really touch and go. But yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Pastor Chris showing up, Chris and Karen showing up with Papa Murphy's. I know we love Papa Murphy's gluten-free pizza and salads, and they showed up on one of your incidences, and just to have that love, know that it's really tough, but we're not going through it alone.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of this. You know, I just heard this, Michelle, and I think it's really, I just read this in a book, and it was such a great thing. You know, every Sunday we come in and we see this group of people, and it's sort of equated like that to like a gift. And every person that's next to you is a gift. And it's a present, and it's like waiting to be unwrapped, because you know, I think of, you know, we shared this. We had water in our basement, you know, a few years back. Who did I call? Someone from church.
Yeah.
And he dropped everything and came over and helped us.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean.
Right. You know, and it's just, it's those people that, you know, these presents that are all around that have amazing skills, amazing abilities, and, you know, are just kind of waiting to use them.
Yeah. And I think too, just talking about community, I think it's also, yes, you can watch online. We've watched online in times where, you know, after your surgery and your leg was propped up. I think that was, you know, the first weekend we ended up getting a wheelchair to borrow, but the first weekend I think we watched online. But super grateful for that technology to provide that resource. And, you know, if you're not able to find a local church close to you or something, it's a great tool to have. But being in a physical building with people, sitting next to people, is something about those relationships and getting into small groups and community groups with them that, Ryan, I remember we were at a baptism event and somebody looked at you and you had served with this person for years upon years, Mike. Yeah. And he looked at you and it was like, Ryan, my man, like, how are you doing? And it was like he could see in your soul. And you just teared up because you knew how much he cared. Yeah. And it's like when somebody asks you, how are you doing? And you know, they really want to know.
They want to know the truth.
Because they care so much about you.
Right.
And it's just like, there was no hiding any of your emotions in that moment. There was no hiding anything. There was no, facade or anything. It was just, you know what? It's been really tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that led to a conversation in prayer. And he told you that multiple times that he'd been praying for you. And he really did it.
Yeah. I mean, I fully believe God intended us to be in community. I think that's biblical. That's
You look at the triune God,
Right.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Right.
God, the Trinity, is a communal God.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's even that, Michelle, that promise of heaven, of just the fact that, like, we're all going to be there together. You know what I mean? It's a community, it's a group of people. And I think that's what God intended.
Yeah. I think, so good, Ryan. The second thing that I think people maybe believe that keeps them away from having this church community and making attendance a priority and having consistent attendance is this statement, Ryan: my kids are my priority. My kids are number one. I'll do anything for them. I want to see them succeed. And I'm not saying this to judge or shame or anything. I just want to share from our perspective. So our daughter was in club volleyball. She was an excellent player, still is a very good player, but this is our daughter who is now in college. She grew up from preschool. When we met, she was 4 years old. So she started coming to church 2, sometimes 3 times a week because we were both serving. I was on staff for a while. So this girl had all the seeds and all the solid foundation. And I think of the scripture from Matthew 7:24 through 27. It basically talks about how all other ground is sinking sand. It's just sinking sand if you don't build your house on a foundation of Jesus Christ. He's the rock, which kind of loving the song The Rock right now by Forrest Frank and Crowder. So check that out. Maybe listen to that after you're done with this. But I think about what a solid foundation she had growing up. So she was playing this elite level. We still were making church a priority on the weekends. But in middle school, she started young in elementary school, and she had an injury. And then towards the end of middle school, COVID. And after her injury, she never really was able to make the level that she had made before. It's like that top team just kind of solidified more. They kept moving on. And she was kind of, it was like the rest of the pack kept going. And after her injury, she couldn't secure her spot back on that team. And I just think about how many parents pour thousands of dollars and time and energy and time away into their kids becoming this elite athlete, and not saying that that's bad, because I think you can use that platform for Jesus. If you're an athlete out there that, you're bringing the light to the locker room, I mean, good for you. And you're being the light to people. I think it's just making sure that they know who their true identity is in. So is your child, for Ella, we'll use Ella. She knew, yes, I'm a volleyball player, but that's not my identity. I'm a child of the King and I play volleyball, right? So it's a big difference.
Right.
It's not, I'm Ella, the volleyball player. It's, I'm Ella, I'm a Christian, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, and I play volleyball.
Yeah.
And her coaches could see that, her teammates could see that. That's how she conducted herself. And eventually, even some of the culture of the team, she just was like, okay, I'm trying to pull them in this direction, but at some point I can't be in this culture. And she, parted ways, and it was okay. So just, I think that was our big example of not getting so wrapped up in chasing this thing that at any moment they could have an injury, or they could just decide, hey, I don't really care for this, or they could get cut, or let's say they go on to play in college, which would be amazing. But then after college, we've seen people struggle with their identity at that point.
Yeah.
They're going to get to an age where even if they have a successful career in sports, they're going to get to an age where they can no longer play, and they're going to have to figure out who their identity is.
Yeah. That's spot on, Michelle. Yeah.
So I think for us, it's having those aha moments of, do you ever look at your kids and you're like, oh my gosh, they are just like me. All the time, right?
Yes.
Like even watching our son, the things that he says, he talks really sophisticated.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll look at you and I'll say, do we talk like that? You're like, yeah, we do. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. It sounds really, intellectual coming from a 10-year-old. But so when I was in kids ministry, that was some of my time on staff. I was in kids ministry for some of it. I just will forever remember these George Barna stats. So the George Barna group, they do a bunch of research, and they had said this, that the preteen years are so important because their study showed that nearly half of all the people who become Christians do so before the age of 13. So those who make that commitment in their preteen years are more likely to remain committed to their faith as adults.
Wow.
Those are the key years. Additionally, moral and ethical foundations are set. So according to Barna, a person's moral and ethical foundations are largely in place by age 9. Ryan, I think of this with our son, and he's really bothered by sin.
Yes.
Like when people are not doing the right thing, he's really bothered by it. But I see this with him. So their moral foundation, ethical foundations are largely in place by age 9. The teenage years tend to refine these views rather than completely change them. Other stats, having a strong faith community provides emotional resilience. When your child knows, it's like that song, The Rock, when they know where their foundation is, it provides a support system through community and spirituality, helping children navigate emotional challenges. So if they get cut from a team, it's not the end of the world because they know there's so much more to them than that. Sense of belonging. Faith-based education fosters a sense of belonging and community, encouraging children to engage in collective activities and develop social skills. And finally, understanding life's questions. Faith helps children understand and answer big questions about life, fostering a positive outlook. I referenced this verse earlier, Proverbs 22:6, train a child up in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Yeah. Michelle, I think that is so good, just about where that foundation is being set. I think it's so good. And we've mentioned this before on past shows that really that is so important. It's so critical just from those stats for your kids, for their future and what that looks like for them.
Yeah.
I think that's so good.
Giving them that unshakable faith.
Yeah.
They're going to go through a lot in this world, but for them to have that foundation, that solid foundation built in the rock,
right,
would be the biggest gift that you can give them.
Absolutely.
And even for yourself, but for your kids, your legacy, what a gift to give them.
Right. Awesome. Well, Michelle, the third thing that I love this one. This is so great. This one is so great.
Perfect, because your career falls right in with this.
So we've heard this before about church, that all they want is my money. And so what is being referenced? And I don't feel like we talk about it a lot at church.
I don't feel like we do here. No.
But it's typically that statement is coming from a word called tithing, where basically what it is, it's saying that the first 10% of your income goes back to God.
First fruits.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really difficult one. And why I say I love this is because it's actually about a bigger topic. And this is something that I work in the finance field. So, keep in mind, like I'm
doing investments all day long.
I deal with money a lot, and I can tell you why I'm laughing, why I love this is because the real thing about this is understanding that it's not ours. That is something that drastically changed for us when we realize it's not about the church wanting my money. It's not about God wanting my money. It's about understanding that everything that I have, everything that comes in is not mine.
Every good and perfect gift is from the Father.
It's from above. It's from God. And so, I can tell you all of these things about basically God saying, here's 9, I only want 10. I don't even, just on a bigger level, it's really just understanding that.
It's an act of surrender, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just
in obedience to that God. Yeah. Right. And so I do think that example is really powerful. If you think, I remember one time in church, they had 10 M&Ms and they said, God said you can have 1, 2, 3. God gave you 9 M&Ms and is just asking for that one. Everything, your house, your car, everything is a gift from God. Yeah. It's all known anyways. You can't leave with it.
Right. I think that's such an important thing to just realize that every gift, everything you have, your ability, like all of these things, it comes from God and is truly, a blessing from God.
Yeah.
And I think it's understanding that it, for me, like this wasn't, it's really not even about money. I like, we happily give because as you said, Michelle, it's obedience, it's to God's word, but it's also just, we understand that this is all a gift. It's all on loan. Michelle, you said this, one of the things like we love to do is thrift. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, we actually ran into a guy from Celebrate.
Oh my gosh, that was such a blessing.
And
Chris, you're awesome.
Yeah, he was such a blessing and talked about how much he loved the podcast. But, he also said something to us about like, all the stuff in here. People like accumulated all of this stuff. Yeah, he had an injury. So he is working at this thrift store, just patiently waiting, for some healing. And he was in the context of, he sees everyone bring in all these donations. Right. Yeah.
And he was like, they can't bring it with them. All this stuff. And he's like, I've just rethought about how I look at worldly possessions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so like
and he's a listener of the podcast. Yeah. He was like, your guys' show is such an encouragement. Congrats on the 100.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's so much of just understanding that. And it's not about the church wanting your money.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that it's not yours.
I think it's a growth opportunity when you have that opportunity to then start tithing or start with an offering if you're not a spot where you can tithe.
Yeah.
And I always say this too. You might think you're not the spot. I'm going to take that whole thing back. Don't wait until you're at a spot to tithe. Just tithe, because I think you're going to find that God blesses that.
Yeah.
Ryan, we just got a check in the mail. I can't even make this stuff up. We've been tithing for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I remember actually when we first started, do you remember that tax appointment where this is when you could bring in all your itemized things and your deductions and stuff. And they said, we probably don't need to list any of this. And we said, well, we have this one from our church and this, and Goodwill and all of this. And he said, oh, we probably won't need to. And then we slid the sheet over and he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna need to make sure we record this, because it was like he had never seen a tithe statement, or it was shocking to him. So that was kind of fun. Like, yep, we tithe. But Ryan, I feel like we've gotten really good at acknowledging the blessings from God. Yeah. And we've told you guys this, our listeners, but we'll say blessing, blessings from heaven.
Yeah.
We just got a check in the mail from our insurance company. They are dropping our homeowners insurance. They're just not going to offer it anymore. Yeah. And they had this thing where if you were consistent without claims or anything, you would get a cashback program.
Yeah.
And they sent us a letter and said, hey, we're no longer offering homeowners insurance, but because you were in this program, we're still sending you a check.
Yeah.
So first of all, kudos to that company.
Yeah.
American National.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, gosh, that's kind of cool that they're still honoring that. But we did not know we were getting that $230 check.
Right.
I just thought, gosh, stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Absolutely.
I bet once a month or something, maybe once a week. God's blessed us.
Yeah.
From that obedience. So anyways, don't let that deter you from going to a church.
Right.
Because that's not the heart of that being brought up.
Right. No.
Yeah. Good word, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is, maybe this is holding you back from going, is having a church hurt. I want to say, first of all, I'm so sorry that you've had that wound in your life. And I think we all can relate to this one. You can.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah. I think we all probably have been hurt by people, but I think it's really important to remember that we too have probably hurt people, right? So somebody probably has hurt you, but if we're honest, you probably have also hurt people. And it breaks my heart when this happens in a church or in the Christian world. I was just looking at some stuff on social, and there were these two artists, and they were kind of back and forth, and a bunch of people were saying things on this other person's page, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this just breaks my heart, because nobody wins in that situation. Right. But I think what's important to remember is that the church is like a hospital for the sick, right? Everybody's broken. Nobody's arrived. That won't happen until we're in heaven someday. So we're all working and growing, and hopefully as people grow and mature in their faith, they can recognize when things happen and reconcile with the person that was done the wrong was happened to. But there's just no such thing as a perfect church. So anyways, it grieves my heart that things happen, but also I want to encourage you to try somewhere else. Maybe if it's either going back and trying to find reconciliation, if that's available, if those people are still around, or whatever that looks like, but don't let it keep you away from churches as a whole because of that one. Because I think there could be a lot of healing awaiting you, and a lot of restoration, and a lot of blessings on the other side of hopefully working through them.
I mean, Michelle, you hit on this, and I think this is really the beauty of our faith. Of you have a community of people, of imperfect people, right, that are coming together to seek the one that is perfect. Mm-hmm. And so naturally, when you put a group of imperfect people together, there's going to be some friction. There's going to be some of this. But it's also the beauty of our faith that we are given forgiveness because of Jesus dying on a cross.
Yeah. So who are we to hold unforgiveness? Right.
And I get that there's probably some things that have happened, but at the same time, this is the beauty of our faith, and this, honestly, it's to be expected, but it's
this side of heaven.
Yeah, this side of heaven, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
but it's also the beauty of church, of coming together, because if people are looking at a church and they think that you have to be perfect to attend, it's not. It's not. I love what you said. It's a hospital for the sick, and that's what it should be. That's what we should represent to everyone. Mm-hmm. Is that this is a place to come if you're broken, if you're healing, if you're needing community. This is the place.
Yeah.
There's not another place like it.
Yeah. And I think too, keeping in mind that there used to be the saying that we said here a lot is hurting people hurt people. So whatever that hurt was, they probably were dealing with a lot too. And I'm sorry that happened to you. And I hope that there is reconciliation in your future, but it is true. Usually people that are hurting hurt other people. So hopefully that person or people stayed connected to the vine and grew and learned and changed and really got right with God in that situation.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, that was good. So 4 things. So the myths, hopefully that you have a different perspective on. So I can be spiritual without going to church. My kids are my priority. Not saying that they shouldn't be, priority, but just having them ordered, right? We always say God, then spouse, and then our kids, because they're going to benefit from us having a better relationship, and everyone's going to benefit with us having a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
They'll just want my money.
Yeah.
And I had a church hurt.
Yeah.
So hopefully we brought some light to those 4 areas. Ryan, any final parting thoughts?
Again, Michelle, I think just where we started, community is so important in life. And it's become clear, I think, as life has progressed for us. And just like looking back on everything from our marriage to parenting, to having kids, to all of these things, like all of these events, community has been so pivotal.
Yeah.
And you can get that by being plugged into the local church, to a local church in your area. If you're in the Sioux Falls area, we'd love to have you at Celebrate. But it's been life-changing for us.
Yeah. In every aspect of that statement, it has been life-changing in so many ways for how we are with each other, how we entered our relationship, how we got married, how we parent, how we're friends, how we're in community, how we live and conduct ourselves. It's changed every area.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when you ask me that, like truly every part of my life is different by being plugged in to a local church.
Yeah. And it's God that's changed us, but this is the path that we are learning more, of course, being in the Word and having other spiritual habits and disciplines, but this is a huge part, and it can't just be on Sunday. You need to be doing stuff throughout the week too, but this is a huge part. And it's like that refresh. This in our community group is, it's like they say, you're the sum of the 5 or 7 people that you're around. So are you consistently putting those things into your life? Where are you getting what source are you connected to every week? What are you plugged into? Because that's what you're going to become. I want to be more like Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm plugging in here.
Right. All right, Michelle, should we do a mystery question?
Let's do it.
All
Play
right.
that song, Patrick. The mystery question time.
Okay.
Birthday boy, take one and you read it.
one.
There's some fun ones, I think.
Okay.
I may have taken a peek.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was it deep?
These are great. No, this is great. If you had to swap lives with a cartoon character for a week, who would you choose?
Oh my gosh. I don't watch cartoons. That's fun. Okay. Who would you choose?
Scooby-Doo. Easy.
I'm going to try to make his sound, but I can't. I was just going to butcher it.
Yep. Easy one.
Why?
You're talking dog? Talking dog that solves crimes? Oh, sign me up.
Sign you up.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? It's a great one. See, there's a theme song too. What about you, Michelle?
I don't know. We just this weekend when we were driving, we were looking up old shows. Remember that show Wishbone I was talking about?
I've never seen it.
It's on PBS. We didn't have cable until I graduated high school, and then we did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He was a talking dog too. It's like a dog that told the stories. I don't know. What other cartoons?
I mean,
I think the Paw Patrol dogs were pretty cool.
A Paw Patrol dog. Yeah. Which
I'd probably be Sky.
Sky.
Let's do it.
Okay, Sky.
Fly around and go help people.
Yeah. You have like wings?
Yeah,
That's
she
cool.
has those wings that pop out.
Yeah, and there's a theme song too.
Paw Patrol, be there on the double. Kids don't watch that. I feel like they don't watch it. It's all bluey.
I don't know. Paw Patrol's awesome.
I'm going to be Sky.
Cool.
Fly around with the little rocket jets, pink helmet.
Yeah. Hey, that's awesome.
Thank you guys for joining us today. And hey, we want you to know, if you don't have a church home, a great first step would be checking us out at Celebrate.church. Of course, we talked a lot about being in community, face-to-face with people. That would be ideal. But if you're in an area where you can't find a church or you don't know where to start, check us out online, Celebrate.church. If you're in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area, we'd love to have you here at Celebrate. You can find those details on our website as well. Also, we have marriage resources at Celebrate.church/marriage. Ryan, have a great week.
Yeah, you too. Have a great week, everyone.
I'll be with you. I don't know why I told you that. Have a great week, you guys. We'll talk to you on Friday. See ya.